Good morning, Year 4. We hope you enjoyed your Eastwood Day on Thursday. It was so lovely to see all of your pictures and your videos and what you'd been up to. So today then we're going to write our final paragraph for our Roman army speech. And I must say I've been so impressed with what I've been reading so far. Your vocabulary choices are excellent. When I listen to them and read them, I could almost imagine you guys performing them out loud. So it would be lovely if after today, after you've wrote your second paragraph, if you could record yourself reading these, because remember at the end of the day, it's a speech. So although it's written out for us, it would be something that the Romans would have spoken. Okay, so your first paragraph, you've done a really good job at following your plan to help you with what you're writing. So today we're going to do the exact same thing that we done last week, and we're going to keep referring back to our plan. So the tip I gave you last week was to have your plan out in front of you, so make sure you can refer back to it today. Something else I've still got in front of me is my Boudica speech as well, because I can use some of my ideas from here and adapt them into my own writing. But remember now, we're writing to fight against Boudica, okay? We are the Roman army, so we need to get into that character, into that role to help us to write. Okay, so let me read through my plan then. So today I need to describe the Roman army and how powerful they are. I'm going to add a rhetorical question. I want to use short sentences, and I need to explain what we are going to do to Boudica's army. I wrote down some vocabulary and phrases that I'm going to use. So I want to use the word regimented. I want to use a rhetorical question. Who has an army that would sign up for 25 years? That was one of the facts that you all found out at home. I was going to use we are as a repetition. I said that we were fighting armies 50 times our size. Remember, that was the exaggeration because in truth, it was only 10 times the size. And we must. I was going to use that as a sentence starter to explain what we are going to do. Okay, so I'm going to head back onto this page now and create a new paragraph for the next section of my writing. So I've had a look through Boudica's speech to see how I'm going to start mine off. So in Boudica's speech it says, now is the time for us to come together and fight as one. So I'm going to use part of that to help me start off rather than sitting there and struggling. So I'm going to say, and I'm leaving a line because it's a new paragraph, now with a capital letter, now it is time for us to come together. Notice how I'm sounding out those words to help with my spelling. Now it is time for us to come together and fight. And instead of saying as one, I'm going to use the word united, because united means joined together, that means as one. And fight united. United, sounding it out. It's the end of my sentence, so I need to put my full stop in. Okay, so now it's time for us to come together and fight united. So now I'm going to say about how we're the regimented army. I'm going to use that word from my plan, and I'm going to try and use we are as repetition, and I'm going to try and use short sentences. So I'm getting all three of those things in my plan really quickly. So now it is time for us to come together and fight united, and I'm going to say we are the regimented. We discussed the meaning of that word last time, didn't we? We are the regimented army, and that's going to be a short sentence, so I'm going to put a full stop there, and now I'm going to repeat myself again. We are, capital letter, because it's a new sentence. Now I don't want to use the word army again, because otherwise I think it's getting a bit too repetitive and the people who are listening to my speech might get a little bit bored. So I'm going to use infantry, because that's another word for the army. We are the infantry. That's another word for the army that can... And I'm going to use defeat rather than fight, because I've used that quite a few times through my text. Defeat. Powerful armies, drop the Y, IES. And this is where I might use that piece of exaggeration. So this is where I might say that we are going to defeat powerful armies 50 times our size. So we are the infantry that can defeat powerful armies 50 times our size. Now notice in my plan how I just wrote it in note form, but now I need to write my numbers out correctly as words. Armies 50, we've been practicing our spellings for these words in year 5. 50 times our, remember not our, size. Full stop. Perfect, that's that paragraph done. I'm actually going to break my second paragraph down into 2 because I think it would sound a bit better. So going back to my plan, I've described the Roman army. I haven't used the rhetorical question yet. I've used short sentences. I've used the word regimented. And I've said about it being 50 times our size, and I've used we are. So already I've got those skills in there really, really quickly. Okay, so I'm just going to do the final paragraph now. So you could do this as one big paragraph, but I think mine would sound a bit better broken down. Again, to start me off, I'm going to have a look back at Boudicca's speech. So it said, you may believe that the Roman army are powerful. So I'm going to say, you, because I'm talking to the audience, you might, instead of using may, I could use may, feel, okay, and now I want a better word for afraid, so I'm going to say threatened. It's got that f sound, but the TH. Threat, that's fret, but then he's put and. You might feel threatened by Boudica, capital B, don't forget that. So you might feel threatened by Boudica and her, oh, now I need another word to describe her army. I saw so many of you using your emotive language word map. That's amazing, well done. I'm going to describe her army as wicked now. You might feel threatened by Boudica and her wicked army. Wicked army. Full stop. And then I'm going to use a better word for but. I'm going to use however. And that's my conjunction at the front, so that can be my fronted adverbial, so don't forget my comma. However, let me ask you, just going to read this back to make sure it makes sense. You might feel threatened by Boudica and, wicked army, and her wicked army. That's why it's important to read it back. However, let me ask you, so this is where my rhetorical question is going to come in. And I'm going to say, who has an army? Notice I'm using an, not a, because we've got a vowel for army, a. Let me ask you, who has an army who train, and I need to say how they train, so the adverb I'm going to use is tirelessly. Tirelessly, I can sound that one out. Who train tirelessly day and night. Need the correct spelling for night. Remember, that's a homophone. So, however, let me ask you, who has an army who train tirelessly day and night for... Okay, now let me look back at here at my plan. It says that it's 25 years. So again, I need to write that out in words now because this is my speech, this is my writing. For 25 years. My rhetorical questions, I'm going to put a question mark there, okay? Now, this isn't completely finished. If I look back at my plan, I've used my rhetorical question, but I'm yet to say what we are going to do, and I'm yet to use we must, but I'm actually going to stop writing there because I think now it's over to you to finish yours off, and you don't necessarily need me to write the final bit out, okay? So remember to look back at your plan today to make sure that you're getting all of those success criteria in and that you're getting all of your key vocabulary in. I've been so impressed with what I've read so far, and I'm really looking forward to seeing your speeches finished. If you need any support with any of this, please send me a message on Teams or email me.